Hello there. I am so glad you're here tonight because I have somebody on with me who I think is one of my favorite paranormal people on the planet, really. I've been really impressed with him. He is a fantastic human. He is kind. He is a really, really good organizer. He's a writer. He's a musician and songwriter. He is the creator of the Things Network, and he is really a special guy. And just so you know, we are coming to you from the southernmost studio, for me anyway. And I'm so glad that y'all are here to get to enjoy Jeremy York. Hi, Jeremy.
Hello, how are you doing?
I am good. I am much better than I was about 15 minutes ago. So, all good. So,
No, the
you
beach
know,
would do
it's,
that to you.
well, the beach is my happy place. Technical issues with my door lock are not my happy
Mm.
place. But it's really it's really hot. It's really pretty. It's really stormy. And so I'm just glad to be here and not be standing on my front porch at the moment.
What's the temperature where you're at right now?
The indexes have been about 115. So I'm not sure what the actual air temperature is right now, but and my phone is way over there, so to be able to look at that.
Well, my
But
phone
it's
is showing me here is 85.
whoa,
Yeah.
that's like what that is. I mean, that's hot like we are for you.
Mhm.
Even your ghosts are going to be sweating, man.
Yeah, well, they're going to be sweating on Saturday night because we got an investigation coming up on Saturday.
Where is that?
Are you familiar with the Old Lake County Jail?
Oh no, I'm not, and I love investigating jails.
This one here is in Crown Point, Indiana. And it is the one that John Dillinger escaped from a couple of months before he was killed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that's where we're
This,
going on Saturday, and it's really the favorite place for me to go to.
why?
It, there's something about the place. There's something special about that place. It's got its own unique charm. Um, but most places do, but this one more so than others for me. Um, but it's also one that I had been to more than any other location. Um, I've been there 20 plus times, I think,
Wow.
over the years. Yeah,
So that is a serious draw for you.
mhm.
Have you developed a relationship with any of the spirits there?
I have not. If anything, it seems like the females tend to develop something there, and not always positive.
Oh, yeah. I've been in a jail with people that the spirits weren't very respectful of.
Right. It seems like in this particular jail, there is on the bottom floor when you're walking in there is in the bottom, and it's on the right hand side. There is um, like a woman's section there,
Mhm.
and there was a prisoner, an inmate. Her name is Anna, and she had poisoned her whole family. A couple of them survived, but
Oh,
she
wow.
was there, and I forget which time it was that we were there. But one of our teammates had the bright idea of having all of the females go to this cell
Oh,
by
no.
themselves. All the males are out because he wanted to see if there could be a reaction from Anna. There was a reaction from something because every female was feeling something very negative, um, and they all had to get out of that area.
Oh, wow. How many females were there?
See, I want to say there was 7 or 8.
Wow. So she was really affecting strongly. She had a lot of energy.
Probably, probably. It was a pretty good sized group that we had that night. Uh,
Mhm.
Usually we have a good sized group anyway. Uh,
Right.
Saturday might be one of our smallest groups. I think we only have 12 going this week.
Well, I tell you what, if I was where I could get there, y'all have to beat me off with a stick. So, I mean, I don't really have anybody in Birmingham to investigate with. And that's frustrating to me. So I travel to do my investigations. And if somebody has a residential haunting or something of that nature, I will help with that if they reach out to me, but not by myself. And it's really interesting to get to come and investigate with people that you trust and and they have good experience. And usually have to come down here for that or travel. I like traveling to investigate too.
I don't mind traveling either. I actually like being on the road, but there comes a point where it's like I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, want to be home.
Yeah.
Well, I like coming home, but I like going and seeing things too. And I'm really lucky that my husband is very good about. He likes to travel, but he plays poker. I like to travel to ghost hunt. So I get to do both. I get to go with him while he's playing poker.
So you can
And
go somewhere and make sure you can find a casino.
I've tried that. He is, I can't find one in Scotland for him though. I'm working on that.
Yeah.
But he is, he's kind of gotten used to me wanting to go. We're going back this year. And he is just kind of like, well, where are you going? What are you going to see? Where are y'all going to investigate? So he's getting into it now. He's not nearly as freaked out as he was the first time. Of
So
course, the first time was a rough trip. So we were with a bad group. But, then last year it was really good investigators.
he's actually investigated.
Oh, no, no. And he doesn't like it when there's stuff in our house either. So he's just like, okay, this just happened and you need to have this fixed before I get home, please. So that's been interesting a time or two. We have a lot of family memorabilia in our home.
Mm-hmm.
And like handmade quilts or for some reason we have a broken piano. The soundboard is broken. I don't know why we still have it, but he likes it. And so we have a lot of stuff, memorial flags that were given when veterans were, laid to rest, and the flags were given to their families and stuff. And because that's something that you don't want to get rid of, right? Because I really feel like they have energy attached to them. What do you think? I mean, do you feel like the fallen are attached to things that brought them to their family somehow?
It's always possible.
Have you
I
ever heard of that?
Yeah, I would never discount something like that. Like I've got I've got family heirlooms myself, stuff that my mom had, my grandma had,
Yeah.
my great grandparents have had. Um, but I don't feel energy in any of those things. I just keep them because it's stuff that my family has had
Yeah.
and stuff that family that I never had the chance to meet have had.
I like that connection too,
Yeah.
because I feel like as long as somebody knows what that is and cares for it, then that memory stays alive,
And
even with the
it,
person gone.
it keeps the past on alive.
Mhm.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom McNicholas.
Tom is one of those that's going with us on Saturday.
Oh man, y'all are gonna have so much fun.
Oh yeah, we are. It's also Scott Smith's birthday that night.
Well, then you're definitely gonna have fun.
We are going to have fun.
So, and a happy early birthday to Scott.
Yep.
So, you know, with all of the different chapters of things, how many members are there roughly?
I have
Didn't mean to pop quiz you.
it's at least 20. I know that. Um, maybe 25. Maybe
Wow,
because we're looking at. I think there are 10 chapters between the
right?
state countries. Um, and there are only two chapters that have just one member, and that is Alabama and yeah, and Missouri.
In
Um,
Missouri?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, at
Carl's
least I'm in good company.
yeah, Carl's the only one for that because when he closed down his other team because his partner retired,
Right.
that was when he approached me about doing a chapter of things, and it just jumped right on that.
Well, I would. He's a great investigator.
Yeah, but every other team has got at least, let's see, Florida is two. I think that's the only one that's got two, and then all the other chapters have three or more. So it might
Wow, I would love to have 20 or more people to investigate with regularly.
well that's across the entire
Well,
brand.
but yeah, but I mean, that's cool.
It is cool. Um, Definitely never expected that to happen.
Yeah.
I figure in the beginning I thought maybe we would have like one sister team, but not another team that carried on the thing's name.
Mhm.
Well, it
So
started.
did you get surprised?
Yeah, I know. It started out with Things of Colorado with Adrian because she was the one um, that wanted to do this next chapter, and sometime after that, Nick came. I offered a thing to Nick because he had closed down his old team,
Mhm.
but originally he was just a part of the actual things team,
Right.
and then after Colorado came in, then I started thinking, well, let's give Nick his own thing. Like before, he was trying to do like a whole bunch of sort of like what I'm doing, uh,
Mhm.
but his was going a lot broader than what I was looking at because he was looking at like Bigfoot and Mothman and all of these other things.
Yes.
It was so vast that nobody would have been able to keep up with that.
Well,
Um,
he does get a lot of energy and some great ideas. And I put that down to being young and interested in everything. So, but he is. I mean, and
the guy
I
is a
love
walking
him.
encyclopedia.
He is. He is. If it's paranormal, he knows about it.
It doesn't even have to be paranormal.
Pretty much, yeah.
He If you ask him about certain tornadoes, he can
That's true.
rattle off the state, the city, and the date.
The date freaked me out because we had a conversation one of the first or second times that I interviewed him, and he knew everything down to the actual day and when during the day it came.
Yeah,
And I was like, how do you know that? I mean, I
doesn't
don't
that,
even remember what year the hurricanes hit, right?
doesn't that just make
So
you mad?
it does now. So he is really just brilliant. But I have a husband that has that kind of memory, and I don't win many arguments. So because he remembers everything.
You don't hear that very.
Well, we don't have many arguments. So yeah, we have a lot of years under our belt. So it's really an interesting. Well, we got married when I was 19, and I was in no position to be a married person. I was way too stubborn, still, recovering from traumas before that.
At,
And so we got divorced and then we remarried.
at
So
that age, nobody's in a position to be married.
I agree. And, you sit there and I, I thought I was so ready, and we had been together for, 2 years, and it just was so not the time. And I'm just going to put out there that if you have had past or past traumas in your life, and you need to make sure if you're young and going to do something like that, why you're actually doing it.
Yeah.
Because until you work through that for yourself, nobody else can help you with it. But when I did get through all of that, we got married, and we've been married 30 years now. 30? No, 26. So pretty good. I'll take it. And bless his heart, more to come. So, and he supports my paranormal interests and sometimes addictions. So,
That is always a plus.
yeah, he doesn't want to go, but he does not care if I go. He's brilliant.
Yeah, that because I was in a more of a situationship a
Hmm.
few years ago, and the person that I was with, she would come out,
Hmm.
but then she would start mocking everybody for what we did,
Oh my.
um, and everything was always a demon to her. I'm sure you're familiar with the Monroe House.
I am.
One, I was with her when I was going to go there, and she begged me not to go. Like I I don't even remember what it was, but she begged me not to go. It was the devil's house and everything like that. And of course,
Oh
it
my.
had the reputation of, you know, demonic and all of that stuff, which I
Yeah.
I call bull on that because I've been there
Yeah.
twice. Hardly anything ever happened. Um,
Hardly.
hardly anything. About the most that ever happened. Carrie was she was actually the one that put this thing together the first time I went there, and I saw her hair come up. It was like somebody came up, lifted.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. I actually saw that with my own eyes, and that was the most I've ever seen come out of that house.
That was it.
Yeah,
Wow. That's unexpected.
I know. We were all sitting in a circle when this happened too. We were all sitting in a circle, doing like an EVP session.
Mhm.
I'm trying to I'm trying to think. I think we had some of our EMF meters in the center. See
Mhm.
if anything. I don't remember anything tripping those. but I
Mhm.
do remember her hair coming up.
That had to be kind of cool and weird at the same time.
It was kind of
I think
cool.
cool would win.
Yeah, it didn't necessarily register to me as something. Oh no, like it hardly anybody
Yeah.
does that unless something bad happens. But it was kind of cool to see.
Well, especially since it wasn't my hair, it's really cool to to hear about.
Yeah, so
It,
think of what it was like for her.
yeah, that had to be something. Well, if you aren't into it and you don't believe it, when it actually happens, I've seen people run out of facilities, literally run out.
I have too. That actually happened at the jail we're going to on Saturday. There was this woman between you and me and everybody in the audience.
All these people.
Yeah, she had no business being there. Um, she was the best friend of the separated wife of a guy that was on the team, and she was one of those. The way that he had told me is she had some things going on up here. Um, she she just had no business being there,
Mhm.
and they were all on the second floor in what's called the Universal area, which is where all the cells are at and all the doors work, meaning
Oh,
that they are all on a pulley and somebody in the back is pulling on this rope, and the whole row of doors will open and shut all at once.
yeah. Ah, what?
Yeah.
Holy wow.
Well, you've seen shows where somebody pulls a lever and every door on that row shuts.
Yes, but wow.
But this one here is operated by rope. And
Well, that would take so much effort.
actually, I don't think it does. I'll have to ask Sandy about that. I don't think it's really all that much work, but and Nick can tell you, will vouch for this. One time I was doing a solo in one of those rooms. Somebody was filming me for like a little series that she was doing. So I was the only one in the Universal area, and um, I was inside one of those cells for 15 minutes. Doors shut, everything. I'm locked in. I'm imprisoned.
Mhm.
After the 15 minutes is done, everybody comes up. She goes out there, starts pulling the. I heard that, Nick. She she starts pulling the rope. I heard him laugh too. She starts pulling on the rope, and the rope broke. I was trapped in that cell for about another 15 minutes.
Oh my.
Everybody was panicking. I'm in there laughing.
Yeah.
I'm in there laughing, and and I yell at Nick, "Come in, come over here, get your phone out. I'm going to grab these bars and try to look as pitiful as I can. Take some pictures." And he did. He posted those pictures. It was actually the same night of the one that you commented on earlier today. The one of me holding on to his vest.
Hmm.
That,
I
that's
love that picture anyway.
that is Nick's vest that
Yes, I
I'm
know.
holding on to. And then a couple hours later, I actually got locked. Well, not, I got trapped in the cell. So I told him, "Hey, take pictures, take
For
pictures."
grabbing the vest.
Yeah.
You were disciplined for that.
Oh, we had a ball that night. We had a ball
Well,
that night.
I think y'all have a ball a lot of times. And
Oh, we
that's one of the reasons that I think it, oh my goodness, Tom, you're funny. But I think that the camaraderie amongst the things investigators is such a cool thing. It's people with a genuine love and interest in the paranormal and trying to gather as much information about it as you can. And you do that by experiences. And I can go and do stuff by myself, but it's just me.
But it
And
also helps when you get the right people.
absolutely.
Because I can talk about this all day. When you get the wrong people in there, it is just going to be miserable. And there was a number of cases like that where it's just miserable. I don't want to be with this person. I don't want to do it. This person is not good for what we're doing. Um, but once that was all taken care of, and then I started really focusing on, okay, who would really be good for this team? Who is not going to be
Mhm.
in it for the glory? Who's not going to be in it for the fame and all of that? Who's here for the good reasons?
Yeah.
And I think that is why we have the team on the level that is at now.
Well, I can see that. I mean, one of my favorite things is to go and, I mean, I peruse the page a lot because there's so many interesting people. And I just love the fact that it doesn't matter that I'm way down here. You know, we get we get people. I love Irina. I mean, I just have so much fun with everybody that will interact with me, and I've never had anybody be less than you know really nice, really cool, and fun. So, and Denise, when I'm down here, we can get together and do stuff when she has the opportunity. But lately, all we've gotten to do is, talk, not really get stuff. She is wide open right now. So, but it's so fun because I know her experiences. You know, I love getting a chance to talk to her about things. I love when I've had the opportunity to interview her and Ron
Yeah.
because they have so many and anybody out of things. I mean, I just love what I do. I love getting to talk to paranormal investigators and experiencers, and I like talking to people about ufology. And I'm really lucky because through fate, I get to talk to more UFO people than probably I would otherwise. And because they're trying to be so serious, and it's and I'm like, yeah, but it's bizarre.
I
It's
think
unusual.
probably rather talk to somebody about UFOs and aliens than I would about ghosts.
Well, there's more to wonder about.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's more to wonder about because it's really directing us now.
Well,
Not directing us, but affecting us.
I, I
And
I think the reason that I would want to talk to them more than ghost people is because there is so much evidence all around the world that
absolutely.
tells us we have had something here,
Hmm.
and or that shows that they tried to use this to communicate
Hmm.
to somebody that could only be up in the sky, like the NASA
Yes.
lines, um,
Yes.
because the Nazca lines weren't discovered until um,
Yeah.
aviation came back around,
Yeah.
and when they noticed that, it's holy cow! This has been here for hundreds hundreds of years, if not a couple thousand. I don't remember when they estimated that it was made, and it's kind of astounding until you look at the weather history of the area, which there isn't. that those lines would have survived as long as they have.
Yeah.
And then you start looking at, it seems like it's more prevalent in like about Central America all the way down South America than anywhere else in the
Yeah.
world.
Yes. Well, and a lot of that because there were so many of them. People that look at them now don't realize how many were there originally. Eric Van Daniken, when he was young, he was in Jesuit school, right? And one of the priests that taught him gave him what is cannot remember that book, the omitted book of the Bible that talks about these things. It'll come to me. But he read that, and so he would always go and explore, looking for things. And he went to Peru, and he flew over through there. I mean, he was 17, I guess, to now, But he would go and he would work as a waiter. He would make enough money to go on his excursion. Enoch, thank you, Lori, the Book of Enoch. But he would go and explore until he ran out of money, and then he would go back home. He and Giorgio Tsoukalos are actually from the same town, and that's why they have the relationship that they have. But it's so interesting to me because he was actually like in the Queen's Chamber of the Great Pyramid before anyone had been in there. I mean, not in it. They had gotten a little camera of some type in there. And
Speaking of
that was interesting.
Adrian sent me a link. Archaeologists discover ancient portal after anomaly spotted near pyramids, and this is on MSN.
Get out. Really? I haven't seen that.
This is on the MSN website. Archaeologists discover ancient portal after anomaly spotted near the pyramids. And this is the three pyramids of Giza. I haven't read it yet, but the first sentence here, a team led by Motoyuki Soto, Tohoku University, from the university has unearthed an L-shaped anomaly in the western cemetery adjacent to the famed pyramids using ground-penetrating radar.
That's bizarre because they're already finding all this stuff under them.
Yeah.
Literally under them.
And
LiDAR is changing the world.
Yes. There is a report that Edgar Casey had made a prediction or like a revelation is something that there is some sort of chamber underneath one of the paws of the fence. But nobody has been able to get down there to see if it's true. This is almost 100 years ago that he said this.
I would have liked to have talked to that man. But, the Egyptian Antiquities Bureau is who handles those things. And they're very particular about things of that nature, especially the Sphinx because it's in such bad shape. But it's really, to me, if you've got this, let somebody look. The man was pretty spot on in a lot of things.
Yeah.
I would let somebody look, or I would at least send some of our own researchers down there.
Speaking of the Sphinx, there was a theory out there. I don't know how popular a theory it was, but I remember reading that there was a theory that there may have been a second Sphinx
Mhm.
out there because of the position that it's at. And when you look at it from straight on, it looks like that it would be more to the side of an aisle, and that a second
Mhm.
one would have been across the aisle, like how in a lot of other places, like the New York City Library has got two
With them on the,
lions.
yeah.
So there were a lot of people that was thinking that there was another Sphinx out there guarding the pyramids, and something happened to it that is not there anymore.
That's actually interesting, and interesting that you brought up the library as well, because a lot of times places that have history as old as New York's, right? As well as different societies that are active in those areas, they can, you'll find a lot of things that you'll think were, just a coincidence that this might have been more balanced that way. And then, then you hear, well, maybe it's because there were two here. Well, how would anybody even think that there might be two there? And then I just think that's interesting because it's almost like there's validation for these theories without there actually being proven validation for the theories.
And
I
when
think that
you
these
really
secret
think about it,
societies
how
have a
many
lot.
theories have actually been proven?
Say that again.
When you really think about it, how many of these theories have actually been proven?
Yeah.
Now, granted, there are some theories out there that are just too ridiculous,
That's true. You
but
have to not have your mind so open that you just fall for anything.
right.
But
But at the same time, a lot of these theories, as ridiculous as some of them may sound, they, I would say, are plausible.
well, yeah. I mean, if you can't prove that it's not, how do you prove that it is? And you know, and the opposite of that as well.
Right.
And I get so frustrated, especially on ufology as well as ghosts, when I'm talking to somebody who is just such a naysayer, and you're trying to have a conversation and you're just being shut down. Like with UFOs, I've seen them. I have had unusual and unexpected experiences with them. I've never had an abduction that I'm aware of, but I've seen them up close.
Mhm.
It wasn't comfortable. And thank God I was on the phone with someone because I was like, do not hang up, But I did not want I did not want an abduction experience. But you know, if somebody is so locked down about either one, okay, about anything anomalous, if somebody is so locked down that you can't even converse with them about it, or if it's somebody that knows you and still thinks that you must have been doing drugs or drunk or just lost your mind, when it's something that you experienced, and these people should know you well enough to know that,
Mhm.
it's very frustrating.
It
And
it actually kind of harkens back to conversations that I have with my dad.
yeah,
Um, he is absolutely convinced, even though I tell him otherwise. He is absolutely convinced that I am a staunch atheist,
yeah,
and one of the reasons is because one, I do kind of roll my eyes a little bit every time that he brings it into the conversation, but I also go back to saying, okay, when you look at certain things in the Bible, there are passages that contradict each other and itself,
yeah,
and there was also one, and I was actually surprised that he remembered this conversation because we had this one a long time ago, um, where there is in the book of Genesis when when God creates Adam, let us make at this man in our image.
Hmm.
My question is, who is let's? Who is our? Shouldn't it be I will
Right.
create this man in my image? And I had this conversation with him. Um, and then he is a big fan of Frederick Price. He
Mhm.
is he was a preacher out of L.A. Great big old church. He passed away in 2021, I think, during the height of COVID. Um, and Dad was watching this thing. I think it was this past Sunday, if not the Sunday before, is one of the two, and said that he answered that very thing that I was questioning about the in our image, where he's saying, okay, it's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And the way that this guy was explaining this is that, okay, God's Father, Jesus' Son, and then there's the Holy Spirit. And I'm like, wait a minute, isn't the Holy Spirit supposed to be Jesus? And
Mhm.
saying, no, it's apparently its own thing. Okay. So that raises another question, because God was supposed to be the only thing that existed when the universe was created. So where did this Holy Spirit come from if it existed the same time that God did? And if this Holy Spirit existed at the same time, what created it and what created God?
I bet you give your father gray hairs.
I do. I do. So I'm asking all these questions here.
Well, they're logic,
Yeah, but
right?
his line of thinking is that I am trying to shut it down, and that I'm atheist. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in that. And I told him, no, that is the furthest thing from the truth,
Yeah.
because there is nothing that tells me that this is true, but there is nothing that tells me that this isn't true. There is just no actual evidence either way.
Usually I get told that that's where faith comes into play.
Right.
And it's very difficult if you seek logic in a scenario to be able to put that aside for this conversation. I mean, because you're looking for a natural progression. And I don't understand, I don't understand the verbiage either. I do understand that, you know, I have me, I'm here.
Mhm.
Um, this is my physical self. I have a cognitive self, right? I feel like my spirit is separate from, I guess, because I can do transcendental meditation and travel doing that a bit. And I don't really talk about that very much, but it is a thing. And so it's I don't know really about how separating to be another physical being would work. So I do believe, I mean, I'm a Christian, but I don't know the mechanisms of how that works.
Right.
So it's interesting to me.
There's also another thing of looking at. like the Bible more specifically, is everyone will admit, or at least most everyone that I know will admit, that the Bible was written by man or men.
Hmm. Plural. Some women. There are some women.
And then there came a time, but they weren't all collected together. They were all just little books.
Hmm.
And then somewhere down the line, it was, make sure,
Consolidated.
yeah, well, that, yes. But the way that it was put together, it was like, I want to say it was a committee
Hmm.
of people put together by Constantine.
Yes.
And they decided what is going to be put into the Holy Bible and what is not going to be put into the Holy Bible. The most famous one is the Book of Enoch,
Yes. Which
because,
is a funky little book.
right.
I mean, it really is.
But when you look at everything, it's like they wanted to control the narrative
Hmm.
of what the Bible says. And
I
then,
think desperately. I mean, because it was a control issue.
yeah, well, the, there's been a control issue all the way back to the dawn of man, really.
Yeah, there has.
And then when you look at the numerous times that the original text has been translated from language to language to language, what we read now in the
Hmm.
Bible today may look nothing like when it was written, what they intended it to say.
Yeah. Well, or what it actually did say, because just in our generation, you've had the New Living Bible, you've had the Living Bible, you've had the New King James versus the King James, you've had
Yeah,
so many, and that's just since I started school many, many, many moons ago, but still, it's been, there's been a lot, and it's like every time, and I think this is really a marketing thing at this point, where you will go and like if I
it
like to
is.
give the Bible as a gift if it's somebody I know will like that. So it's because it's personal and they can just highlight their own little hearts out and do their own studies with their book. And that helps them develop their personal relationship with their faith and their father, right? So, or
And more power to them to do that.
yeah,
Um,
I mean, it empowers, but I don't know what these new versions read as, right? Because people were very, I'm older than you, but when the Living Bible came out, people were grossly offended by it because it was not the word of God. It was put in current vernacular so that more people could read it and understand it, ostensibly. And I
and
mean,
that's
my
only
mom
going to
ran
get
out and
worse
got
with
one.
time. That is only going to get worse with time, because
Yeah.
I've been paying a lot of attention to today's dialogue com-
Hmm.
compared to how it was 10 years ago. And I
Yeah.
can see a digression of how people
Yes.
talk. It's mind-boggling, and yet nobody really noticed. I never really noticed it either until I was in the hospital, and all I could do was listen to people talk, and I
Hmm.
got to think, wait a minute, when did this phrase start?
Hmm.
When did that phrase start? And when I hear these certain phrases, it makes me think that people's IQ level has gone down when they say certain things. And so I think that is only going to get worse down the line as the Bible is continuously rewritten. And that's
Well,
exactly what it's being. It is rewritten, and now it's going to get to the point where certain groups out there are going to say, well, the Bible needs to say this to include this group of people. The Bible
yeah.
needs to say this to include that group of people. It the,
Well, and the way that it starts is it includes everybody
yeah,
because it was written for humanity.
right.
And, I agree with you. And probably we share an opinion how bad an idea that is. And I mean, inclusivity is not a bad thing. But if you start trying to find ways to make somebody feel like they're not included, even though they probably were to start with, you know, you go and you start making victims. And then you start trying to pacify victims that weren't victims in the first place, just people started telling them they were.
Right.
And, that's where I agree. I think that it's not the dumbing down of, it's the manipulation of.
That yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, politicians are great at that. I don't care what color tie they wear, and it's just because that serves their end goal. People that are fighting amongst themselves are generally not going to come after them. They're going to hate this guy because he wears a blue tie. They're going to hate that woman because her pin is red. I mean, it's so, it's crazy because they don't take the time to find out what people actually think. And that's what's happening with religion too. And
It's really happening all across the board, everywhere,
everything,
especially in the paranormal field.
everywhere.
Yeah. Um, right now there is a big thing going on in the bowling community.
In the bowling community?
And it just came out today. Literally just came out today, where the USBC, which is the United States Bowling Congress, are doing studies and third party research and spending all kinds of money to see if a specific type of ball is hurting scores, but it's a urethane ball. Um, it's like the second lowest on the totem pole as far as how it reacts on the lane. And this ball has been around for 50 years, or the cover stock of the ball, the outer shell of the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, so
Yeah.
the way that this ball is made has been around for 50 years, and now they're starting to say, "Hey, this is actually hurting people." And what it is that because they are getting more advanced in technology of how they make bowling balls,
Hmm.
and because of this, it's causing a lot more people to be um, have a lot more higher averages than people deserve. Like me, I'm between a 190 and a 200 average.
Right?
When certain types of balls are coming out, I've seen like a 30 pin jump in averages. Literally.
That's huge.
It is. It is huge. And there are some people that I remember seeing that were just 190 average bowlers. And then as soon as these balls come out, boom, they're shooting 220s and 230s all the time. And I'm thinking,
That's crazy. How
it,
can a ball affect that strongly?
it, well, it's not,
I mean, is that the only change? Is that the only thing changing, not the lanes or the pins?
no, the biggest change is the way that they're making the balls. But there's
Okay.
also the way that they oil the lanes.
Oh,
That makes a big difference too. Um, So what they're talking about doing is now trying to ban urethane balls because people that use them, other people are saying that when somebody is using a urethane ball, it is screwing up the lane path for those that are using the high end balls, and they're the ones
Because
that
it's heavier?
it,
I mean, because it's denser?
it,
Or
I don't know.
it's crazy.
I haven't fully read the entire report, but the thing is, as a bowler, you got to do what you can to make sure that you can roll the highest score that you got. And
Yeah.
I've had a urethane ball for 30 years. And there's been times where it saved me on the lanes because the lanes are so dry I don't have anything else to combat it. And I would pull out a urethane ball and it just goes right where I want it.
Wow.
And
Okay.
they're talking about banning it because it is screwing up the lane paths of the higher end bowlers because they're the ones that are complaining about that ball now. You got all kinds of
But that ball's been there the whole time?
yeah.
Well, then maybe it's the high end bowlers that suck worse than the other bowlers.
They're the ones that need. See, the thing is, it's all about doing what you can to adjust. And part of adjusting is going to a different ball when you know that the one that you're using now is not working.
For you,
Right.
not working for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going out there trying to roll the best score that I can. I don't care what this other guy's doing. I'm doing what I can do because I'm bowling against this guy.
Right? You're going to do all you can to win. That's
Right.
legal. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like in NASCAR, how they are
Mm,
trying to make everything identical.
yeah.
NASCAR has lost its luster for me. Um,
Well, yeah, the whole point of NASCAR is they do have parameters that you have to stay within.
yeah,
But if you've developed, and they have fuels that they have to use. I mean, you can't vary a whole lot, right?
right.
But as long as you're staying within the parameters, if you can find a way to get an extra few horsepower out, then my son's a mechanic and I mean, his job now is working on and building race cars. And which
Okay,
is his dream job because this kid has been racing since he was 15, right?
okay.
So he's 40 something.
But
But
NASCAR right now is making it to where every single car
mhm.
is virtually the exact same all the way across the board.
And where's the thrill in that?
Right.
I mean, where is the innovation? Where's the attempt to bring? I mean, I know they're wanting uniform vehicles so that the drivers are tested in the same capacity to see who's better at driving. But it's not always just the driver.
No.
Yeah, you have different track conditions, you have different wear patterns on tires even. I mean, it just depends. There's so many other factors. And who wants I mean, I don't know. I'm not the right I mean, yes, Talladega is in my backyard. But and I did grow up where they did develop NASCAR. So
The thing that got me upset, it was a couple races ago. Um, it was either the guy who won or came in second place was actually disqualified because when they were doing the post race inspection, he was
right,
missing a bolt.
a
He was
bolt.
a bolt from somewhere. I don't know where. He had a missing bolt, so they disqualified him. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. They had to do a pre-race inspection, and he
Yeah.
passed. So that bolt was there. So who's to say that at some point during the race, the bolt didn't work its way loose and come off, and now he's going to
Not
get
an unrealistic, yeah, that's not unrealistic to imagine.
yeah.
Those are some tough, those are some tough conditions that those motors and the structures are dealing with. I mean, that's high velocity.
Yeah, especially when you get to a place like Darlington where a car is literally going straight up like that.
Yep.
Uh,
Have you ever been on a NASCAR track?
not a NASCAR. I've been to a racetrack. I've only been to, I think, maybe two races my whole life, and that was just when I was a kid. But a few weeks ago, I actually went to see my brother a couple hours south here, um, and we went driving all over the place. And one of the places that he took me to was very small racetrack. I think it was a quarter-mile track,
Mhm.
and my dad used to race on that track.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, my dad used to be a race car driver back in the 70s.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, he loved it. He has won. It was just like Indy Circus. He never made it to NASCAR or anything like that.
Doesn't matter if you loved it.
He did. He did.
Yeah.
He let's see. I think he has won either three or five races. Um, but yeah, he really enjoyed it.
That's pretty huge
Mhm. Yep.
for a part-time driver. I mean, that's pretty major huge.
There's
That's cool.
actually a guy that he used to race against that is still racing to this day. This guy is 87 years old.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's love. That is love for something to be doing it that long.
Yeah, my brother told me about that. He gave me a list of names to say to my dad, and he knew every one of them. 'Cause my brother's companion, um, they're not married, but they've been living together for 12 years now, I think. Well, her son is an announcer for that racetrack.
Oh, that's cool too.
Yeah. But yeah, my brother took me out there, and it was the first time I'd ever seen this particular. No. I take that back because that was the track that my dad took me to with my brother, and this was about a week or two before my brother passed. So I had been at that track. I used to always think that this track that we had gone to was in a different city, but it turned out it was that one.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, how did your dad get started racing? I mean, because he had to be really great at it to have won that many. I mean, people that win one race are doing great,
I
right?
think his father was a racer as well because he used to work on machines, work on engines. He would take engines apart, he would rebuild them, and there was actually something that he invented that is used in NASCAR engines now, but
Oh, that's cool.
he never got the credit for it. I don't know what it was he invented, but he never got the credit for it. It ended up getting stolen from him.
Oh, that's tragic.
It is.
Well,
It seems to be the running theme because my dad also in did two things, and within a year, both of those things were patented by somebody else.
oh, I would be so ill.
Yeah. Oh,
I would be so ill.
he
But
was.
you know, I have to apologize because when I asked if you had been to a NASCAR, yet on a NASCAR track, I have I have not. I just know from hearing people talk, right? Because I raised a son who's a motorhead. So I I get a lot of this stuff by osmosis. I, I don't I don't do that anymore. Um, but it's really and I grew up with a lot of guys who just loved cars. So nature of the beast in Birmingham, Alabama. But it's one of those things that if you love it, it's in your blood. It's just like ghost hunting
Yeah.
or or crocheting, I mean, whatever is your thing, if you love it, it doesn't matter what you have to do it, you're going to do it.
More or less. That's kind of how it is for me and bowling.
Yes, it is because you're very good at it.
When when I got hurt, that was when I started having these long breaks in between. Because right now I only bowl for a month before my national tournament. Then I do the tournament. Then I'm done until the following year, a month before the next tournament. Um, and I am so grateful to have this big break because for a long time I would go out there do my weekly league and it would feel like work. It
Mhm.
to the point where I'm just not enjoying it. But now
Yeah,
when I go, I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
that's so cool.
Yeah. So eventually I do want to get full blown back into it, but I'm not ready for that yet. First of all, I need to get done with all my surgeries. Then after that, then I'm going to start slowly working my way getting back into it.
Well, I've got to tell you that as somebody that's, on the outside, basically, we don't get a chance to interact as often as we probably could. But I really, when the stuff, when you started your recovery, when you started your surgeries, when you started getting back out, um, I think the longest conversation that we've ever had that wasn't on air was when you were driving, to a tournament. And that's when I felt like, it was a good conversation and I enjoyed that. But your love for that sport, your love for a lot of things. I mean, you're one of the most versatile people I know. And I love that because I like a lot of things too. I mean, you have to have varied interests in order to not get bored.
Right.
And, and you also, I used to play foosball competitively. Okay. So I get the bowling thing. If it's something that you love and you want to be the best at it, go for it. That's what, you know, getting to do that is so much fun until it's not. And I'm glad that you recognized that this was turning into
Work.
something less than what you wanted it to be
Right.
in time to turn it around.
Well, there also comes a point in time, like for me with bowling, I've more or less accomplished almost everything that there is to accomplish. There's only like three things that I've never done. And if I don't do those, I'm okay with that
Yeah,
because I have two perfect games. Um,
that's pretty cool.
yeah, because I
That's really cool.
the first one, let alone the second one.
Yeah.
Uh, I have won multiple leagues. My teams have won multiple leagues, won multiple tournaments, singles and team. So I've done pretty much everything except bowl a perfect series, which is extremely rare. And I
What
have
is that?
three perfect games in a row.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that is rare. That is rare. Um,
Imagine.
the only thing that I would like to do at some point is bowl in one professional tournament in the PBA. Just one. So that I can
If you do well, would you do another one?
no.
Just the one.
Yeah, because it would cost like $500 to bowl in this thing.
Wow. That's a commitment.
Right.
So,
So so if I was to be now that is if you get become an exempt player bowler, but those are for the top echelons of bowlers. I'm talking
okay.
about bowlers that average on the regular 230. on the sports shot. And the sports shot
Wow.
is a lot harder than what you have at home. I am nowhere near that. All I want to do is just bowl one PBA tournament. That's it. I'm good with that.
That's a good, I mean, it's a realistic goal, right?
It could be. The thing is, in order for me to do a PBA tournament, I have to be able to have a season finishing with a 200 average. And for about 5 years, I did. So if I wanted to, I could have gone for a PBA card and did a tournament. Um, but right now, with where I am at, it would probably take me a while to get back up to that point.
Hmm.
But if I do again, then I'm going to go for it. Get a PBA card, do one tournament, and that's it. That's all I want to do. One tournament.
Well, I think it sounds like a doable thing.
Yeah. Maybe the USBC Masters. I don't think I have to have a PBA card for that one, but that counts as a PBA tournament. So
Um, it's nice that they have one you don't have to have the card for, though.
it would be nice, but just to be able to say I at one time had a PBA card would be huge.
Yeah. Well, I
But
will tell you that with baseball, I didn't have to have that. But I did get to go to some places and play some, you know, play some really cool years. We were in Chicago for the World Championships when they brought out, when Atari brought out Asteroids.
okay,
And so we got to play on the first Asteroids games and things like that. I mean,
okay.
and
So
that doesn't sound,
from your experiences in baseball, the movie A League of Their Own,
ah,
how close were they to being like accurate to what your experiences were? Now I get that League of Their Own I think was like the very beginnings of women's baseball. I think.
mhm. Not baseball, foosball,
What is it?
bar game, bar games, foosball, table
Oh,
soccer.
I thought
Yeah.
you said baseball.
No, I wish I could play women's baseball,
Okay.
but here it's only still softball. But a league of their own would have been, I
I,
think a league of their own would have been entirely accurate because the only reason they got to play was because the men were at war. They didn't get to play because people wanted them to play. They needed entertainment for people, right?
during that time, yes.
So, they were just there as filler. And, I'm not a big women's liberation person. I like being female. I like, I've worked in male industries. So I've been, yeah, not just male industry. I've worked different things because, old. But it's really never been a detriment to me professionally because what I don't want to sound arrogant because I don't feel like I'm arrogant, but I had to learn and work hard to be competitive at every job I've ever had, whether it was clerical or working in the refrigeration industry or working in, having to know all of the parts in a refrigeration system because I was in charge of working with the men that were doing the startups on those systems and supermarket environments and things like that. Or, you know, um, I like challenges because I'm not the person that would normally know those things. I'm not a gifted mechanical kind of person. So I had to work really hard to learn that. field, and I had people that would kind of mentor me through things, and I listened. I don't think that women have.
Right there.
Huh?
That's the big thing right there. Listening.
Just be willing to learn it. You
Yeah.
have to listen to learn.
Because there's been so many times. It's never happened to me because I always did the same thing. I listened and I watched, and that's how I learned. I have heard so many times where people are like, the best way to do this if you're going to advance in this thing is shut up and open your eyes.
Yep. Shut your mouth, open your ears, open your eyes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, was there a time that I was very cocky and couldn't be told anything? Oh yeah.
We all go through that.
But once you get slapped down enough and you realize that, I really do need to know this, maybe I should just sit down and shut up. It's the same thing with what I do. I feel like with the paranormal, because when I first started investigating, I was, I've been watching TV, right? Well, that wasn't when I first started this, but when I started going out places, right? And man, you don't get squat when you act like an ass, I mean, you don't. And so you get out there and you realize that, man, these are just people. They're just in a different zone than we are, So
The biggest thing when it comes to first time investigators is telling them, do not expect what you see on TV.
ever do not do that.
Yeah.
Because you will get jacked up. I mean, I saw somebody get jacked up pretty good. And I was like, I don't want that. And I did get I got called less than a nice person several times through EVP. And I was not aggressive. I was just like, oh, come on. You want to talk to us. We're here just because we want to talk to you. And we just want to know what's going on. That gets stuff a lot better than talk to me, dadgummit,
I actually had something like that happen to me from a spirit box. It was me and this one person. We were actually at Bobby Mackey's.
Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
Before it got torn down. The whole building has been torn down now.
Right.
And we were doing an EVP session in the pool room. Just asking regular questions. And then out of nowhere, I got called a jackass through that.
Oh my gosh.
Jenny was laughing. So I just went with it. That's right. I am a jackass. How you doing?
How did you know? Right.
Right. I just went with it because sometimes that's what you got to do.
It is.
Um,
I used to get my feelings hurt. I mean, because I was called a bitch so many times. And I think that it finally got to where it was like the joke on the ghost circuit, if she comes in here, say this. But it was just so ridiculous.
I forget who it is, but she gets this EVP quite often. It she laughs about this, but she says, "Oh no, the bitch is back." She gets that on EVP.
I haven't gotten that. I would have asked if they were an Elton fan. But, it's just kind of like I got a complex for a while. Yeah. I was just like, no, I'm not doing this. Y'all talk to them. And
sometimes it's hard not to.
Yeah.
This paranormal field, everybody can do it,
Hmm.
but not everybody should do it.
Touche. I agree.
Yeah.
So,
And it's hard to get certain people to understand. You know what? Maybe this is not for you.
mm,
But
yeah.
what are you going to do? It's not like you can ban people. You can ban people from your own investigations, but you can't tell them, you really shouldn't be doing this. You know, for any number of reasons.
Right.
Like if they get affected so bad that they have to run out every time,
Not their color Kool-Aid.
right? And it's not that they're being attacked by whatever is there. I personally think that they work themselves up to where
Yeah.
they feel like they're getting attacked, but they really just bring it on themselves. They,
Well, if you get yourself worked up in a state of fear,
yeah,
you know, or anxiety,
you're giving yourself your own anxiety attack. And there are some people out there that just don't recognize that.
yeah.
And you're not going to get them to recognize that as, oh no, I had 30 spirits coming at me at one time. Okay.
Well, and the problem is that if that's what they feel, you cannot convince them that that's not true
Right.
because it's
It
real to them.
yeah, and in all honesty, you don't have any proof that something didn't attack them.
Right.
Um, but at the same time, if you know the person, then you can get a good idea of what's actually happening.
Mhm.
Um, but it's going to be different for everybody, no matter which way you look at it.
Well, and different people perceive attack as different things. I was on a residential at one time. It's really funny. And, you know, people have heard this, but it's still a good example of that. I was sitting on a couch with, two people beside me, camera going over here, right? And this the spirit that was there was kind of a soul collector. If you were to, yet they had convinced the other spirits there that they could not go, that they had dominion or whatever. It was their house, and they were
Like
staying.
like a gatekeeper or something like that.
Well, like trying to be the boss,
Yeah.
ego, and who knew that ego transcended, right? But it does. But in this instance, I was getting what was going on, and I just said, "You don't have to stay here. You have the complete freedom to go where you want to go. There's no one in this house who has dominion over you. If you want to go, you can go."
Mhm.
And and it was really funny because I was with a team, and I got rushed. Like my hair blew and everything, and the two people sitting beside me were gone because they felt it too, and it wigged them out. They left me sitting there. They did not take me with them, but
Well,
so
sometimes that's just natural instinct that
it
holds
was. They
fight
were gone,
thing.
and they were two great, big, strong men who are some of the best paranormal researchers I've ever worked with, and they were gone.
Of
And they
course,
left me to my own devices, but because it was so unexpected.
it they are
So,
big and bad until something actually happens, and yeah,
well, and they were retired military, or out of the military. One of them was retired military, and I'm just like,
okay, now
hey guys,
that makes them look bad.
well, not naming names, but it was really funny because all of us were taken aback. We didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
And I certainly didn't expect it to happen and me still be sitting there by myself. That was so funny. So, because these are some of the bravest people I've ever met, right? And I think they were just so taken aback. Nobody expected that. And
That
and maybe if I
actually
hadn't been so shocked, I would have run too. So
that reminds me of when I was at the temple. Did I tell you about that one?
tell me. I
Um,
don't remember. You have to tell me more.
well, there's actually two stories I want to tell you from this one. Um, the time that I did get rushed, we were at the Masonic Temple in Salina, Kansas. And it was on the first floor in the atrium area. Um, there were six of us, I think. And there was a chair. The building is it's ice cold outside, like -5 outside, regular temperature.
You had gone out in that?
I did. I didn't.
Wow.
I didn't think it was going to be that cold because it certainly wasn't that cold here.
Right.
12-hour drive. And when I got there, I was
Oh,
actually outside for 10 minutes and I had ice forming on my beard on that same
see,
night.
that's why I live here.
Yeah. So, so there was a chair, and one of the people discovered, hey, there's a cold spot there. I put my hand in it. Sure enough, there was a cold spot there. And then we all kind of backed off there, and maybe 10 seconds, I feel this ice cold thing rushing through my elbow. And holy cow, I have never had anything like that happen to me before. It's like I got bum rushed, like somebody coming up and you kind of ram shoulders. That was
Yeah.
exactly how it was. Got my elbow. It was cold, and I thought, what just happened here?
Yeah.
Um, so that was a
Mine
deal.
wasn't cold. Mine was just wind. But oh my gosh, what?
Yeah, that was
How long did the cold sensation last?
uh maybe about a minute. Yeah, wasn't very long.
Well, yeah, but that's still an effect. That's
Yeah,
cool.
it was very cool. One of my more profound personal experiences. And then there was another time. This was before this one happened. It was in the tunnel at Waverly Hills, and I've been to Waverly Hills many times. I had
I have
been.
never been there yet.
Oh, it's awesome. And I had been in this tunnel many times, several times each time by myself, and I would stay there for an hour, no problem. But there was this one time I went down there and I kept having this feeling like something was going to rush me, like somebody was in the tunnel. I kept having that feeling that I was not alone,
Mhm.
and out of nowhere, someone will come running up to me and knock me down or whatever. I kept feeling like that. And after 15 minutes, finally, I had to leave. I left the tunnel and I never went back for the rest of the night. Um,
That surprises me that that affected you that strongly because
yeah,
it had to be really strong for you to leave.
it really was because I never feel anything
Mhm.
ever. But that night,
That also surprises me.
yeah, that night, I felt it. I kept feeling like somebody was there, sometimes standing right next to me. I was, wow, what's going on here? And so I left. And it bothered me that I had to leave because I had been
Was
in this tunnel several times before. And I actually took a chair, halfway down the tunnel, sat in it, put a pillowcase over my head so that I could not see anything. Though it's dark in there anyway, you can't see. But, and I sat there. At first, I thought I was sitting there for 20 minutes, maybe 30. I ended up being in there for over an hour. Never,
Wow.
never felt one thing. But this particular time, the moment I started going down that tunnel, I was feeling something. And it bothered me all the way up until I went back to Waverly, which was, let's see, that was in the springtime. That was actually right before everything started shutting down for COVID.
Okay.
And I went back a few months later. This was after Waverly had shut down for like 2 months. Then they opened back up, and we were one of the first teams to get back in there. And I went into the tunnel. I was there for an hour. Never felt one thing. But
That's so bizarre.
it is. Um, and I was even talking most of that time when I came back. I was like, hey, I'm back. I don't know if you remember me, but somebody chased me out of here, which practically was what happened. Um, nothing ever happened that time, and it baffles me to this day why I was feeling that one time.
Maybe that one time they were there for you.
I don't know.
I've heard other people share that sensation, that feeling like somebody's going to rush them
Mhm.
there. And to my knowledge, I may be misremembering, but I don't think I've ever spoken to someone who actually was rushed in there. I want to say that um, Rachel, them big, may have mentioned something like that, but I don't think it was an actual rush. Um, but I don't. It's been so long since we talked about it. But I know that she did not like that tunnel at all. She did not like being in there.
The tunnel alone, without anything else, can be overwhelming because of how steep it is. Um, because it is really steep. It's a workout going up and down that thing is 500 feet from top to
That's
bottom.
it's quite a tunnel.
It's a long tunnel. You have to have with just a regular flashlight. If you're all the way at the top, you cannot see the bottom.
Okay.
You have to have a special kind of flashlight where you can adjust the beam to
Mhm.
where it's a wide beam or localized. And when it's localized, it can go farther, and you can see the bottom of the tunnel that way.
Right.
But otherwise, you cannot see that tunnel. Even when all the lights are on, it's fuzzy down there. Looking down
Okay.
there.
That's pretty trippy.
It is, and just walking up and down because you got two sides to this tunnel. One is just a slant slab, which is where they were rolling the stretchers and also the carts when they because that tunnel was originally built to bring in supplies. It
Okay.
was not to wheel out bodies. That didn't come until later. So that's why now it's called the body chute, the death tunnel. But
Mhm.
when it was built, it was a supply access tunnel. That was the original thing behind it. And
Right.
then they started having more deaths than they could handle. So that was why they were using that to go to get the bodies out of there without the patients seeing them. Because they would have, I don't know, an ambulance or like a hearse, whatever they had.
Probably a funeral home's hearse,
Yeah.
wherever they were taking them. And time it is.
Yeah, it is, Tom. Um, so they would wheel the bodies out that way so that the other patients wouldn't see it and get discouraged because their morale was already low enough as it was.
Sure.
If they were seeing stretchers of bodies being taken out through the front of the back, then they would lose more hope than they already had.
You know, we, until COVID, we would not really have that experience, right? And
Yeah.
I think that post COVID, I can understand that better
Hmm.
because if you were in a major hospital environment, I mean, people were dropping like flies to start with. And I know that people that I talked to in the medical profession were just devastated. And it was devastating just to hear about. I can't imagine being sick and in a facility and seeing that continuously happen. I think it's probably maybe saved lives that they opted to go out that way.
Yeah.
You don't,
You know, there,
not really respectful of the bodies, but respectful of the people that they were still in charge of caring for,
yeah.
such as it was.
Yeah, because it was a terrible time back then for them. Now the number of deaths was greatly exaggerated.
Okay.
When it was first brought into mainstream, they were saying there were 63,000 people that died over that period of time, but the actual number is like less than 10,000. But somewhere the number got exaggerated that much to where the owner at the time thought that that was the actual number.
Oh, wow.
Um, has since corrected it, but still a lot of people believe that that number was is the correct number, but it's not.
That's astounding.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to at some point find out that our COVID numbers were exaggerated for effect. It's hard to imagine that.
I got my own feelings on that. I had been told things by people who have had the COVID test and what the nurses themselves had told them, what's accurate and what's not accurate. But I'm not going to say that on the show because it'll get flagged on YouTube, and I ain't dealing with that.
Okay, we will avoid that.
Yeah, we can
And
talk.
we'll talk after.
Yeah, we can talk about it
We'll talk
after the
after.
show, but I am not going to deal with another medical. Oh, by the way, medical misinformation. I would get I would have multiple different shows getting flagged about medical misinformation, and then there was actually a report that came out last week. I forget what it was specifically. I was looking at that because and thought, you know what? I think I actually got flagged on that bit of information, and they had just invalidated that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the people that were talking about that very thing on the show was actually talking about medical information and not misinformation like YouTube was saying.
Well, there is a lot of pressure on suppressing things.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I hope we never go through another period like that. I'm sure we will because that seems to be generational. But I hope that
Well,
there's more truth shared.
yeah, we have gone through. Let's see, we had the West Nile.
Mhm.
There was Ebola.
Yeah.
So we have that. It just that COVID was on a much,
Global.
yeah, and I'm seeing reports where it seems like in certain areas it is starting to come back.
Yes. Well, I have a friend who has it right now.
Oh, so yeah, and supposedly it's going to come back much worse, but that's not going to be a few years down the road, and then just as
I'd
fast.
say probably about 2.5 years.
That's not what I was hearing, like about 10 or 12 years after it stopped the first time. That it's going to come back, last a couple years, and then go away. And this time it'll go away, period. But it's going to
What
hit.
is the reasoning behind that?
I don't
Why
know.
is it coming back?
This is now take it with a grain of salt, but I have seen weirder things come true. But Sylvia Brown was the one who made this prediction.
Well, she would know as well as anybody else would, but what did she say? I mean, did she say why she felt that that time period was in play?
It was just a prediction that she made, but she had been disproven several times on different things, but there have been some things that she has said that has come to pass.
Well, she's been right a lot.
Yeah, but she's also
Been
been,
wrong a lot too, but if you're out there doing that, if you're batting 50%, probably you're doing pretty good.
yeah. I don't think she's even still around anymore. I don't know if she's still alive.
I don't know that either. I know my husband used to, whenever we go to the used bookstore, say, "You need to get this book." And I'm like, "I don't need to get that book." She wrote them. She was a very prolific writer.
Oh no, that wasn't Sylvia Brown. She died in 2013.
Oh, well, then I wonder which one it is.
Yeah, who am I thinking? I thought it was Sylvia Brown.
Who would that be?
I have no idea. But anyway, somebody made the prediction that about 10 or so years after COVID ended, it would come back, and it would come back harder and stronger. And then just as quick as it came, it'll go and never come back again.
I hope they're right.
Yeah, well, we don't need it to happen again because it was devastating enough.
Well, I was just looking. I'm not, 2025 predictions.
Oh no, this prediction was made, I think, towards the end of
Yeah,
the.
this is a man.
I'm pretty sure this was a woman.
Yeah.
Like I said, I thought it was Sylvia Brown, but apparently not because she died in 2013.
Uh, Japanese Baba Vanga. He predicted COVID-19 as frightening prophecy for the virus to return. Another pandemic could be on the horizon. So, and this is a Baba BABA, Banga BANGA.
I
I'm going to put that in here
Now,
because
if this had been predicted by Nostradamus or Edgar Cayce,
I'd be
then
much more concerned.
yes. But this Baba, never heard of this person.
Well, apparently it's a renowned Japanese psychic.
Okay.
So,
Um,
yeah, if that was Nostradamus, we'd be having a whole different conversation.
right. Um, and it's kind of odd that this was almost predicted by Stephen King. He literally wrote the book on this.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
People forget that. He's written a bunch of funky stuff, but that one was so close to spot on.
that one
And
was, and a lot of people are saying that he predicted Donald Trump with the dead zone. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that.
okay, I
Um,
haven't read that, so
also, well, if you've seen the movie, it's pretty close to the book
I don't think I've seen the movie.
with Christopher
So mm-mm.
Walken. It's a good
No,
it's a good movie. But the book is
is
also
it scary?
it it's a political thriller basically.
Okay,
There's nothing horror about it.
good. I could watch that.
Yeah, it's a very it's something that could actually happen. Well, the real story is a guy that is involved in a car wreck, and he's in a coma for 5 years. And when he comes back, all of a sudden he has this power where if he touches you, he can see your future, or he can see what's
Oh,
happening
okay.
right now. And through this, he he shook hands with the guy who was running for the Senate, and he got this notion, oh no, this guy's dangerous. And then later on down the road, he shook his hand again, and it turned out that this guy was going to eventually run for president and start World War III. And the book basically becomes about he has to stop this guy. So it's a very it's a very real scenario with a little bit of the supernatural into it, but it is not scary in a way where it's like
No horror.
no gore.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, some of my best friends are monsters, right? And I've never seen any of their movies.
yeah. Uh, Dead Zone is a very, very good show.
Well, I will check that out because I find stuff like that. I mean, I was a poli sci major. I love stuff like that. And I just think it's so interesting to like move the curtain a little bit on different things. So it's fun.
On the Wikipedia page, it describes it as a science fiction thriller. And the reason it's science fiction is because of the whole um, the guy can see your future. That's it.
Okay.
It is set in well, not today's world, but the today world back then in the early '80s.
Well, you know, with all the stuff with AIDS coming to the fore, with Ebola, COVID, there's been other things interspersed through there. You know, it's um it's a wonder that we have not oh, and that book Contagion back in the day. You know, there's so many things that it's almost like if you can conceive it, somebody's going to make that virus and we're going to put it out in the world. You know, it's just,
And who's
it's
to
just,
say that's not what actually happened?
hmm?
Who's to say that's not what actually happened? There are theories that that is what happened, but
There
nobody.
are very strongly supported theories that that's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
And, you know, then if you throw politics into the fray, people start losing their minds. I mean, there's so many ways to go with the conspiracy theory about this stuff,
you don't
about
want
anything.
people to lose their minds.
And, you know, quite frankly, I would put nothing beyond somebody who had power or wanted power doing anything to get it, because that appears to be the aphrodisiac of choice for the ruling elite of
Yeah,
any culture, from
it's
hero
almost like
all the way to
somebody.
now.
It's almost like somebody created this by following the first commandment of the Georgia Guidestone.
Yeah, which have now been blown to smithereens, but fortunately, people took pictures of them.
Mhm.
So, did you know they got blown up?
Oh, I remember hearing about it the day of.
Yeah, I mean,
It
and
it was all over the news when that happened.
yeah, a lot of people didn't pay attention to it though.
It, well, when you
And a
think,
lot of people, that was the first time they'd ever heard of them, which I found interesting because it was really big here. So,
I found out about it about 15 years ago, somewhere around there. I found out about it through Decoded. Um,
really,
yeah. Do you know what show I'm talking about?
yeah, I do.
Yeah, I found out about it through that show.
That's a great show.
It was. It really was.
Yeah,
Um, I'm
I
a
learned a lot through that show.
I am a huge Brad Meltzer fan.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's almost like somebody was trying to do what the Georgia Guidestones, and they was just trying to achieve what that first thing there. Because somewhere down the line, he was talking about a like a one world government,
Yeah.
and
Which I feel like is probably the ultimate goal.
it I think it
It just
is.
depends on who gets to be in charge of it.
Yeah, well, that's probably what World Wars three and four will probably
Yeah.
go through, and hopefully that won't happen in our lifetime. Um,
Well, whenever it starts, we're going to all be, I mean, there's not going to be a safe war ever. I mean, there's not going to be any place not impacted
no,
or
not
any culture not impacted, because there's too many different ways of delivering weaponry.
yeah.
To, you know,
I think that ultimately, as far as anything happening here, 9/11 was just the start of it.
yeah, I agree.
Look how easy it was for them to do that.
Well, and we've had open borders for 4 years. We don't know who's here,
Exactly.
and we don't know who, you know, and we don't know what culture might have a. Boy, we're doomsayers here, but we don't know who's got a grudge against us that's going to find a way to act against it, because we're ostensibly the freest place on the planet,
It is. And
and
ultimately, that
we're a
is going to
target
be our
because of
down.
that.
Yeah, that is going to
I mean,
ultimately.
I'm wearing straps and overalls, so can't do that just anywhere.
Not anymore.
But showing my shoulders or whatever. But I mean, because that really is. I have friends that in their home and out and about wear burqa, and I'm okay with that because that's their right to do that if that's how they choose to live. But not everybody is as open to accepting other people, which
Well,
is kind of sad. I think it's a good way to be.
I have a good friend. She lives in either Reno or Sparks, one of the two. Um, she is a naturalized American citizen. She came in from Brazil,
Oh,
and it took her 8 years, I think, before she became an American citizen.
it's a process, yeah.
Yeah, she she lived in Florida at one time, and then she just recently moved back to Reno. And when the whole deportation thing started, and I was hearing rumors of people who were citizens still being deported. I don't know
Well,
how true that is, but there were some reports that people who came in became citizens and are still being kicked out. And don't forget, there was that one story not too long ago where they actually got the wrong guy and sent him out. Remember that?
I do remember that.
And now they can't get him back in or something. Well,
The guy that was the wrong guy got back.
okay.
He got back.
So I messaged her like, "Hey, how are things going with you with all of this?" And it's been a few weeks since I talked to her, but she said everything was fine.
I'm glad.
Yeah. And
You
then,
know, if you went to all that effort, if you're here and you went through the process and you are a citizen, hands off.
Mhm.
I mean, if you came over here and didn't follow the rules, game on. If you came here with good intention and you went through the process, you cared of nothing, you really wanted to be a citizen here, and you suffered and worked to get that, hands off.
right.
No, nobody touches you.
Yeah.
I
I
think
have
that's the
no
way it's
problem
supposed to
if
be.
it's somebody who's, continuously in trouble with the law. I have no problem with that person going.
Nope.
But if it's somebody who's good and wants to be an American citizen, leave them alone.
Well, it depends. I mean, you there's a process, and people people were being allowed access through that process until it was so overwhelming with the numbers coming over.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, it started, you know, well pre this generation of politics, right?
Oh, yeah,
But
all the way
it's
back to
just,
Mayflower, people coming over.
yeah, yeah. But you know, when you if I were to go to England and try to set up shop, and you know, there's the reason people have visas. You can go on a work visa or a student visa or something like that, but you can't stay on a visa.
I
You're sent home, you know,
I
and
have a friend that lives in England now. She's been there for, I want to say, about 10 years.
did her
And,
visa expire?
no, I think she's actually working on towards being a British citizen.
But she's doing the work. She's going through the process.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She can,
that's how it's supposed to work.
yeah, she can't stand it over here, especially with the political side of things. She
Well,
can,
we're pretty jacked up at the moment. It's been about 10 years in the making, but it's certainly jacked up right now.
it's been going on longer than that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, things started getting really,
Yeah, it's
you
been
know,
really bad these
it's
last.
been building. It's been building to this.
Yeah,
It's so frustrating, you know.
I think that the very beginnings of the really bad stuff that we're seeing started happening around the time that Bush was going for his second presidency,
Yeah.
um, post 9/11, and I think from that
Well,
point
yeah,
gotten bad.
I agree. Well, you know, at that point, we did not have patience for people that were not here, that were here that weren't supposed to be, because you don't know who's going to be trying to do that again. And we really got played with that a lot.
Yeah, especially when those hijackers basically got trained over here.
Well, because they went to go take flying lessons. I
Exactly.
mean, you know, and anybody can do that.
Yeah,
But then
and how is that?
anybody can do that now.
Yeah, I watched the documentary on the guy that did the flying lessons for them. How is he supposed to know?
Exactly.
Although
Because they were here either student or work visas. I think it varied depending on which one it was.
although although
Yeah,
I will say he something should have tipped him off when not
they didn't want to know how to land.
exactly.
So
But
just needed to fly.
right.
Oh, we're out of time, Jeremy.
Oh wow.
I can't believe it. We could do another 2 hours. But
Probably.
we do a good conversation, don't we? I love talking to you.
Yeah, look
So,
everywhere we went, we talk about NASCAR ball.
Atari.
Yeah.
So everything. But thank you so much for being here. I could do this once a month. I just have so much fun because you're a very interesting human.
I just have a little bit of knowledge of a lot of different things. Just a
Yeah,
little bit. I,
because you like to learn.
I am not Wikipedia, but I, I know a little bit of a lot of different things.
Yeah, I I'm guilty of that too, but it's because I'm interested in things. I read. I follow the newspapers. I don't read politics much because,
That's a
but
whole other thing.
I
So
love reading science articles and sociology kind of things. I just like life and I like people. So you do too.
yep, for the most part.
Well, the right people.
Right.
So I'm not going to give you the time of day if you're mean. You're not mean. So this is great.
I try not to be.
Yeah, you're good at that.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Glad to be here.
I appreciate you. So, for everybody listening, thank you so much for being here with us. This has been such a good time for me. And for everybody in chat, thank you very much because I just love it when y'all show up in there. So, we will see you next time, same cat channel. And Jeremy York of All the Things.
All
See
things.
how I did that? Thank you very much
Have a
for
good
being
night, everybody.